You're on. Make it good. Make it good, you little bee. Get your little wasty face over here.
Silence! Ring, ring, ring. Hello, Simpson Birches.
God damn it.
And welcome back.
Again?
Krown's magical!
Think of something
Redemption
better.
Cave!
Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a glorious Friday morning over here. Hey, stop it! Silence. Silencio, por favor, sirs and zers. Anyways, no, just sir over there. Everyone else, feel free to say whatever the fuck you want. Anyways, with that said, I do want to welcome you back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a lovely Friday morning over here from a very overcast Helsinki, Finland, and there is plenty to talk about today. But first and foremost, I do want to say another heartfelt thank you for all of the well wishes on my birthday yesterday. Really meant a lot to me, and like I said, it's overwhelming to be able to express what that actually means. But just know that it's greatly appreciated. And I try to reply to as many people as possible. And I just want to say another heartfelt thank you because that was really awesome and really did mean the world to me yesterday. So massive thank you for that. And onwards and forwards now into the Krown Chain application we go. Let's talk about some shit that actually fucking matters, huh? How about that? Some magic internet money business over here. Let me turn off the alerts for right now. That's going to be a little bit distracting for myself, but we'll get to that soon enough. Anyways, plenty to talk about today. And as the title does suggest, this is actually not the clickbait title that I typically will put up there. I actually do believe that this next move will catch many off guards, and that's going to be the big discussion of today. Anyways, as far as the Krown Chain application goes, we do see several new things going on over here. Bitcoin dominance taking major legs down. So this is, or this was redistribution before the next leg down. And the trend remains. The trend remains to the downside. And if you want to call that an altcoin season, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you at this point in time. But more importantly, I would be looking for that to continue on the, probably over the next month or two. Anyways, with that said, Fear and Greed Index still at a 74 as Bitcoin more or less ranges at the highs. Same thing with Ethereum as well, which I do believe is kind of leading right now. And then as far as the top 10 best coins, top 10 worst coins, we do see some big winners. A lot of the 2017 shitcoins here, which is a little bit concerning. We do see IOTA, not necessarily Solana. Solana doing another big move, 20%. I think it did hit our upside target from the last couple days, so perhaps a good time to check Bitcoin on that one as well. Holochain, whatever the fuck that thing is. BitTorrent, I think that was Justin Sun's baby. And then we got Ravane, Avalanche, Celsius, Kusama, and Tron all on the winners list. Actually, rather interesting to see some of those names there. Anyways, into the market data tab we go. I do want to check a few things over here. We do see our biggest increase actually in the global funding rate over the last I guess since May. So when was that? May was month number 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, so like 3-4 months ago actually. Right around about a 0.03%. Still not anything too crazy. I mean, you're not really paying too much to be holding long positions, nor are you getting paid too much to hold short positions. And more importantly, I really don't look for this to come into fruition for anything, actionable or tangible until this is really consistently above about 0.1%. Then I probably would be looking for medium, maybe even long-term highs before a little bit of a reversal on that as well. What's more important over here is actually the global open interest, which is very interesting to me. We do see a major uptick in this, and yet again, we do have another higher low. This is very obviously reaccumulation after an accumulation low over here. If you're looking at this from a chart format, you'd actually call this a bump and run pattern, which is not something that I'm like too gung-ho about myself, but this would actually fit the bill pretty much to the T. Not necessarily that you want to see this on open interest, but open interest and price action charts should be in some way correlated with each other, which we do see that. So that would actually come to fruition and make sense. On top of that, we do see still that the Bitcoin Exchange reserves is still in a downtrend over here, which is more or less good. But other than that, we really haven't seen too many different things. I think maybe in the hash rates, we might see a slight uptick right there, and the whale ratio remains with its downtrend as well. Both, more or less good things for the long term, I do suppose. Anyways, with that said, I want to address a great comment that I saw earlier at the beginning of the stream. Someone said, in all capitals, by the way, "Why is Bitcoin dumping?" And it's like, hold on, whoa, wait, is Bitcoin actually dumping? Bitcoin's ranging right now. And man, if when Bitcoin actually does dump, which it will at some point, you're going to see, $5,000 to $10,000 move. Think about what's going to happen during that point, man. If you're getting thrown off by $500 to $1,000 move, which is more or less just a range. I mean, really doesn't even break the range in this case right here, which we're going to assess soon enough. But before that, I do want to get into Ethereum actually and start this baby off with Ethereum, which is actually the most easy chart right now, to be fair. And I'm actually going to record this one right here so we can get right through it. And here we have Ethereum on the 2-day on our 200 band charts, of which we did close our last 2-day dildo nice and healthy above the topside Toronto band, and we are going to be closing this next one today at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If that does close anywhere above the topside Toronto band, which is currently trading 38.25 or so, then I would be looking for a general continuation all the way up probably to 4,000 to 4,100 or so before the next sort of medium-term pullback. Is there a short-term pullback along the way at 39.50? Perhaps yes, but I'm not too concerned with something like that. This looks really good right here. On top of that, daily obviously did already close above the topside Toronto band as well. Sir, are you okay over there? Elsa's having a hard time right now. Oh, it's cold. Oh, put on a goddamn jacket. How about that? Anyways, we have close here. Yes, indeed. Anyways, yes, so we did see our second open and closure above the topside Toronto band yesterday, and now today having a bit of a lift off on top of it as well. So as long as that condition is met, I do look at this as still a trend in motion, and it's so very interesting to me to see a lot of people very quick to call a reversal on this price action. Look, don't get me wrong. Of course, a reversal can happen, not just on Ethereum, but on basically anything, obviously. I mean, it is a non-zero probability, but understand the ranges that you're looking at right here. I fear that a lot of people, it's not that I fear, but I fear that a lot of people are on like a 15-minute calling a daily reversals from that. And it's like, look, if you're looking at a daily right here, this is very obviously a little bit of profit taking after a nice massive breakout, and this is looking for further expansion. I think this is rather clear, especially when you look at this from a, well, the major standpoints that I look at it from it, and essentially what I put the most weight on, which is what? Trend, volatility, and momentum. And in this chart, you see pretty much everything all on that side. What do we see right here? Trend, you have your nice ascending triangle breakout. We already hit the measure move on that one. I don't think I actually have it on this chart, so fair enough. We can just get rid of that for right now. Then you have your Toronto bands, which is a volatility sort of indicator right here, and it is trending above that. And then we also see momentum with daily MACD cross the upside as well, nice and freshly. So looking really good right there. And I really don't have any major issues with Ethereum, even on the short-term time frames, as long as we're above about, I think it was about 37.50 or so, which we'll get into soon enough. I do want to address this as well, though. We do have the weekly closing for CME Ethereum later today, actually, in the next 15 hours, 52 minutes, and 52 seconds. And with that in mind, this is not necessarily what I would call bearish right here. This is a massive girthy green dildo testing around your prior all-time high in this case, and this is a very strong move. The only way that I'd be calling this even a potential trap, is if we close the day below, on this weekly dildo, below about 36.50 to 36.25 or so. If that were to happen, yes, that would be concerning. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. And when we go into the short-term time frames over here, I think this is going to become a lot more clear. So let's go do it right now. Let's go see what we're looking like on the 4 hour right here. And even from this perspective, I mean, ranges are rather big. Quite obviously, I mean, we're dealing with kind of a bigger number right now, and I really don't have anything concerning to say about this, especially as long as you're above 3,700. But I would actually adjust that bottom side resolution to 3650 right here. As long as Ethereum's above there, I do look at this as more or less fine. Even in the short-term time frames right now, I mean, this is, for what it's worth, just nice, healthy sideways consolidation going on right here with a bit of a range, of course. But at the end of the day, this is coming on declining volatility, and whenever I see something like that, I go with the trend first and foremost. And I believe that this is consistent amongst all the time frames, which we do see on the 4 hour as well, starting to decline as well here. So I expect that we're in for a bit of sideways price action, and then I'd be looking for the daily to pick it up probably early next week if that is going to be the case. And again, the daily, many good things going on right here. Multiple drives of hidden bullish evidence. Obviously, that already got the general move, but now we look for volatility and momentum to take over after that. And volatility right here, obviously, well, looking good, actually right around the 50 percentile mark. So as long as that, as long as we see that increasing, well, I do look for a trend continuation right here. With a backstop right around 3650 to be exact. Of course, every idea comes with an invalidation, obviously, but understand where your risk is, understand where the understand where the analysis is, and understand also that if you are on a very low term time frame, this is probably not relevant to you. I mean, if you're on a fucking 5 minute or 10 minute or 15 minute or whatever minute, if it is a minute and not like an hourly or a daily, it's not gonna be too relevant to what we're looking at right here, obviously. Anyways, as far as momentum goes, we do see a few good things going on right now as well. For Ethereum specifically, we do see daily Stokes actually still upwards and onwards. I've actually get above the critical zone as well, as long as we do close above 35.67. Looks a little bit likely right now, but hey, weirder things have happened, to be fair. And of course, our volatility metric down here as well is looking for expansion off this level after the massive break. And even my little experimental indicator over here giving a pretty damn good signal, although that one does probably come into a little bit of short-term sideways at the very least, somewhat soon, maybe after one more move to the upside. Short-term time frames, what are we looking like right here? 4 hour Stokes remain to the upside as long as above about 37.80. Currently trading there right about now, actually. Bi-hourly is going to be showing what? Going to be heading down as long as below 38.09, and hourly is going to be showing what? is going to be showing up as long as above about 37.38. So I would be looking at this as a bit of a short-term range, very likely an upside resolution, probably coming into early next week if that is going to be the case. And if you are on the very short-term timeframes right here, again, I do think that things could come all the way down to about 36.50 and really not be too problematic from really any time frame perspective, be quite honest with you, unless if you're like way below an hourly in this case. Anyways, with that said, hopefully that was helpful. And again, long-term targets for this would be probably into, you know, I guess like, you know, later September or October, something like that. Probably still looking somewhere actually just north of 4,000 bucks, or just north of 4,000 bucks. And again, keep in mind that as soon as this weekend, we might actually confirm yet another drive of hidden bullish divergence on weekly RSI for Ethereum as well. And that'll be confirmed with any sort of a closure, I imagine, above 36.50 as well. So that's the big one for me. Not only that, but we'd also see the weekly RSI maintain within the bullish control zone, and also the exponential get in there as well, which would all be pretty damn good things. Even the weekly BBWP would be expanding above 50 percentile as well, and now above the moving average on it. So all of that looks good to me for the long term. Short term, probably a little bit of sideways, maybe a little bit of downside, but overall, as long as 36.50 does hold, I have no reason to be looking at this as anything resembling a trap. And I do believe that those short-term downside moves are actually more than anything a trap for the other side. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go. We can get into good old Bitcoin right now, of which I have plenty of things to say about Bitcoin. And again, it's so bizarre and interesting for me to see this on Bitcoin, where people are very, very quickly to get bearish on Bitcoin based off of what seems to me nothing. I mean, when you look at a chart like this, would you get bearish on a chart like that that looks like this? Again, I would stay with the exact same things that I've been saying for the last couple of weeks right here. As long as Bitcoin holds that $47,000 level on a daily, there is no reason at all whatsoever to get bearish, in my opinion, at all. And what did we say yesterday after that little breakout that we did see over the past 48 hours is that, hey, there's no even warning signal as long as Bitcoin's above about 48,000. And in this case right here, where did we come down? We tested down exactly to the red 10 moving average right here. You can also see this on my other charts as well, a little bit more cleanly, I do suppose, and just beautifully down to that non-exponential moving average. And what are you looking at right here from a trolling demand perspective? As it does squeeze on this price action, it does suggest that any sort of a closure today above 50,500, and again, CME will close for the weekly today as well. I would be looking for big legs up over the next couple of weeks into the deeper $50,000 territory. And while I have been saying before that I probably would be looking for a bit of a short-term pullback from our 51,500-ish region right here, perhaps that does come to fruition for a very short-term time frame. Ultimately, I would be looking for a general continuous move to about 55 or 56,000 bucks, somewhere around the 786 Fibonacci retracement right here, by the way. That would look pretty damn good to me, and that's actually about where Ethereum is right now as well. What's very interesting to me as well here is that a lot of people are saying, or it's not that a lot of people, I see that there's some sort of meme going on right now that this is a very similar situation to what we had in 2017 or 2018. Well, it's not that I would say that that's untrue. What I can show you is I can show you the data, and then you can make the decision for yourself if you think that that's true or not, which I think is rather clear. Anyways, in 2017, 2018, well, what was obviously happening with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin was putting in the highs, and after that, in January, we saw a lot of the shitcoins go on for new rallies to their all-time highs. But that was after Bitcoin went to its all-time high, obviously. And Bitcoin did not make a new all-time high between those times. So when people are saying like, this reminds me of 2017 or 2018, the problem is that Bitcoin has not made a new all-time high first before all of the other things in succession with each other. So it's not actually in any way, shape, or form, at least in my opinion, comparable. Obviously, make the decision for yourself. I'm not here to be, your dad or Mr. Spoonfeeder or anything. I'm just sharing the way that I look at this market for better or worse, and hopefully you use that within the context of your own analysis in a positive way. If not, then just turn off the fucking channel and all good, man. All good. If it's not serving you well, then all good. And motherfucker, I forgot it again. Oh dear Lord, man. We have a sale going on, blah 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 blah. Make sure that you watch the videos. Don't jump into them. It is going to take a long time. It's going to be a big financial commitment as well. Make sure that you understand exactly what you're getting into by watching the promotional videos right there. And by the way, for all the people who got into the merch store, I believe that all of the orders from the last 24 hours have actually been sent out, which is kind of cool. It looks like that happened relatively fast. Anyways, okay, on to Bitcoin over here. All right, let's do this. Okay, all right. So let's get into it right now. What is this looking like? This looks like a quick back test to me, and I think a lot of people probably got caught in this one right here. This is not a bearish dildo by any stretch of the imagination. When you see a massive wick like this above what even would be your retest of that prior breakout, which was this little prior high right here, I look at that as an opportunity first and foremost. And if you're looking at this on a closing basis, you can see that we actually just barely closed above or right at the next sort of interim level, which I think is better seen on a 12-hour right here as well. This to me is just a back test, and that is completely fine and completely normal and completely, you know, to be expected. And again, for Bitcoin, there's always going to be a point of invalidation. Obviously, I think the biggest one and the most important one would be again below $47,000 on a daily or 12-hour specifically. But you will get some pretty damn big warning signals with a closure on even a short-term time frame like a 4-hour below about $48,000. Do we have that right now? No, we have a retest and we have so far a liftoff. 4-hour RSI is also chugging its way along, looking actually pretty damn good right here. We actually should have another drive of hidden bullish evidence on this low right here, but more importantly, consolidating around the bullish controls, and it's typically a good signal. On top of that, volatility very, 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 very low throughout this whole sideways long consolidation. So if you're calling big breakouts or breakdowns from this level based off of what happened in the past 36 hours, it's just not. I mean, I just do not see the same thing, to be fair. And then we also see that 4-hour jewel once again has its positive curvature, which is more or less good. But I wouldn't necessarily be looking for like the next sort of momentous move until Bitcoin essentially clears above the highs of yesterday, either on a 4-hour closing basis or maybe even on maybe even on like a 2-hour closing basis. Yeah, probably 2-hour gets it as well, about 50,200 or so, or just a wick higher. And then yes, I would be looking for that nice shot up to about 51.5, and then very likely, you know, a very, very short-term pullback right there with continuation implied probably into next week is what I'd be looking for. And by the way, buy hourly RSI, hidden bullish evidence right there. I think hourly already had it as well. I think that's you can very easily say that that's already played out. 3-hour, are we building some right here? Let's just double check. No, actually, there's not gonna be any right there because it's literally just continuation. I mean, we haven't even lost a trend on the fucking 3-hour, let alone I think the buy hourly as well. Yeah, I mean, this is still literally an uptrend. That's your next higher low right there. So I would actually, I would put the point of failure now, not necessarily at $48,000, but below about 48,500. That would be the big warning signal, and probably look pretty damn bad if Bitcoin does start to close below there, even on like a 2-hour or 4-hour. But for right now, this looks fine as far as I'm concerned. And this, again, this pullback is all coming within the context of declining volatility. So whenever I see something like that, when volatility is contracting and you're the asset that you're looking at is just coming back down and in this case, maintaining with the overall trend, putting in another higher low, that is continuation by definition, and expansion will very likely lead towards continuation of current trend, which in this case we already got momentum and we already got trend, and so volatility is the next one to follow through, which we have not seen just yet, even on the 2-hour or 4-hour. But more importantly, we will be waiting for the daily right here, which the daily is really setting up. And there's a couple things that we'll get into today that I haven't really gone over in too much detail, actually at all, I don't think, although I have spoken about it kind of tangentially speaking. Anyways, daily BBWP is on the fucking floor right here. We are at the lowest levels since a very long time ago, actually. The very long time ago was actually just in early July, in fact, and that is a 1.59 percentile, of which we did hit about that yesterday or 2 days ago at 1.19 percentile right here. And why is that significant? Well, look at the last time, or look at the move that we generated from the last major signal that we got within the same context of that. That was your move all the way from $29,000 to kind of where we're at right now. A 72% move, actually quite interesting nonetheless. Now, of course, this is direction neutral. You can pull up an example over here where we were this low as well, and Bitcoin did play out about a $10,000 move to the downside. Actually, sorry, more than that, $15,000 move to the downside. So again, for the people who were very adamant about this being like a massive breakdown yesterday, again, understand it's when things do break down, it's going to be way worse. This is easy times right now, at least as far as I'm concerned. By the way, even on the daily, we have hidden bullish evidence right here. We have trend and we have momentum, and we have volatility, which is going to follow through. I imagine on any sort of a closure, basically here or higher by the end of the day. It's going to look really fucking good. Anyways, do we have any examples other than that from when we had this low BBWP? Yes, we do. Coming in back from October 2020 on this move all the way from about $10,000 to $20,000 a couple months later. Like, these things take a while to play out. This one over here, about a 30% move. From $9,000 base to $12,500 high. And then we have this one over here, which was your $4,000 to $14,000 reversal on the macro scale as well, and several others. And again, this is direction neutral. I mean, we did see a 50% downturn on this one over here in late 2018 as well. Anyways, my point is that in this case, I would say that the probabilities are certainly on an upside resolution when you got momentum, when you got trend, and then in this case, volatility is the next one to follow through. And if the daily jewel also gets a nice, cyan signal on here as well, I'd say that's pretty damn good as well for general continuation. So with all of that in mind, I do still favor the upside right here, and I don't necessarily know if we're gonna have, or it's not that I know anything. You never know anything. You only have statistics and setups and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I would be looking for this resolution probably early next week if I had to guess. Buy daily also going to be closing today as well. Any sort of a closure above 49.3 would be new highs on this rally as well, and also imply hidden bullish divergence on this last low right here. So that would confirm this as another low as well, and that would be probably good enough. Again, assuming that we do have yet again another higher term time frame confirming another essentially momentum based indicator, which does essentially postulate upside alongside our volatility turning up as well, which I imagine is going to turn up with a closure above about $50,000 specifically, which perhaps we actually do see today. Anyways, 3-day, do we see this one closing today as well? Yes, we do. It is a bullish engulfing dildo as it currently stands. Any sort of a closure above yesterday's high, or sorry, not yesterday's, but the prior 3 days high is going to look phenomenal for general continuation here too. I mean, this looks really, really good. Again, I'm struggling to see what a lot of people, I don't necessarily think that like they want to see or not necessarily what they are seeing, but what they want to see. Like this, I was having a good conversation with someone yesterday. I forget who, maybe it was Faraz, but basically, you see this on both sides with the bulls and the bears, right? People just kind of latch onto an idea and they don't really like think about anything else, really. It's like anything that confirms their idea is good. And what they want to hear is they want to hear someone else espousing their idea that they can then, like and latch onto as well. And a lot of this just comes from, parroting and whatnot. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what I do not want this channel to be. I want people to be free thinkers and kind of make your decision for yourself. And again, I'm just sharing my sort of my sort of take on this market right now. But at the end of the day, I'm just, there are still two major things that could make me bearish. But even then, I actually don't think that even if we saw Bitcoin turn down this month, I don't think that we'd see below about 42,500 or so, maybe even $43,000. I mean, this is a decent setup right here on the 5-day as well, which actually just closed yesterday. Whenever you see something grinding up against resistance like this and really not, really not taking major pullbacks relatively fast, that is a very, very good signal. Just as a general aside. On top of that, 5-day RSI reaching for the bullish control zone. Again, this it's going to take a little bit of time to resolve itself. This is all coming in within the context of increasing volatility as well, according to that moving average right there. And then 5-day Joule also supporting this current narrative as well. So again, sideways and up as long as Bitcoin's above 48.5, especially it looks good for the BULAs. Below 48.5, bit of a warning signal right there. Below $47,000, big bad bull trap. You should expect probably 42.5 to 43,000 after that. But until that happens, I do suspect that bears are a little bit I do expect that the bull case does have a lot more to go for it. Anyways, on top of that, I did say that we were going to talk about one new thing as well. I want to get to that right now as well here. Let's talk about the fundamentals over here. And I want to reference the blue buy signals once again and just kind of look at where we're currently at within the context of prior blue buy signals. So when you're looking at the hash rooms indicator over here, I've actually marked off all of the blue buy signals in Bitcoin's history with this blue vertical line. So we can get rid of this pane right here and just look specifically at what we're looking at right now. I'm going to ignore the most recent one for right now. And let's just go ahead and measure all of the blue buy signals in the history of Bitcoin and what they produce. So this one from blue buy signal to, I suppose, next major high, that was a 128% move. Realistically, we didn't get like a reversal on a higher term time frame until, well, the ultimate highs were put in. So that's about a 250% move right there. Remember that number, okay? Then we have this one over here, this one was in July 2020. We got an immediate move about 35% right there. Now you'll notice that if you were looking at this on a weekly, the trend actually never reversed, as you did put in a higher low right here in early September. And realistically, it wasn't until the next blue buy signal where I'd say that we actually got a bit of a downturn. Again, 100% move right there, 30% right off the bat. Same thing on this one over here as well. Immediately moves up about 50% or so, and then goes on, basically goes on for infinity. This one over here, the only one that did not work out all that well. And then we have this one over here from 2019. Of course, this one obviously went for a absolutely astronomical move, about 320%, relatively fast over the course of 3-4 months. This one over here obviously led from Bitcoin September 2016 all the way to the ultimate highs for 3,400% move right there. These ones over here, not as interesting, or at least this one right here, to be fair, although I would kind of consider these of the same rapport. 42% right there, comes back down, grinds out the lows, and then we actually go for a nice run on this one as well before the next major reversal, about 269%. We can go through a few more examples as well, but I think it's starting to get really self-explanatory on this one right here. We can see a 1200% move. I'm sure that this one over here is going to be rather impressive, and then the same thing for the one prior to that. And let's just look at what our current move has produced thus far. So from blue buy signal to our current high, what have we seen? What have we seen on this, on this regard? 17%. So 17% would certainly be an outlier as far as as far as signals for this goes. I mean, shit. Even on the biggest failure of a signal, which was right here actually, which was right here in 20th of December 2019, Bitcoin still went up about 43.5% on that one, and that was the lowest one. That was the only one that technically failed long term, as Bitcoin obviously, or the market technically had the coronavirus dump times after that. So just kind of playing around with numbers right now. I'm just curious, what would that look like on Bitcoin's current price action? I mean, 40% puts Bitcoin basically right around prior all-time highs at $62,000. So, going off of this and based off statistics, I would say that, it'd be I still think it's rather unlikely that Bitcoin actually is bull trapping right here. Again, the criteria for looking at a bull trap, I think, is incredibly consistent and incredibly obvious. But until that happens, I stick with the same things that I've been saying for the past couple months here now, realistically speaking, as, these are why I have these rules. It keeps you in the trade for a long time. And I look at this just another back test of support, right around resistance within the context of an uptrend, within the context of momentum to the upside as well. And on top of that, we do have volatility to follow through. Now, if we do get volatility following through, that's where I start to get really, really confident in saying that Bitcoin will very likely hit 55 to 56,000 bucks before the next sort of daily pullback, so to speak. Over here on momentum charts, let's see what we got going on right now for the short-term timeframes on Bitcoin. 48,500 going to be the magical number for hourly Stokes to remain to the upside. 4 hours going to be showing 50,100 for turning them back up. So probably a little bit of sideways here as the short-term timeframes do somewhat disagree with each other. I imagine the 2 hour is probably on the downside as well. Will turn back up with any sort of a closure above 49,750 or so. 12 hours going to be showing 47,800 as the magical number right there. And daily is going to be actually turning up with any sort of a closure above 49,500. And I would feel very confident also going ahead and saying that, hey, if Bitcoin does close today above 49,500, we very likely do see the breakout, maybe over the weekend, but probably early next week to the probably mid $50,000 territory. Unless there's I do think it's possible to get one major trap, maybe in the low $50,000 territory, but also on my experimental indicator over here, we are getting a nice good signal as well if you do want to be bullish, I suppose. Now, on top of that, we can look at this from a volume profile perspective, as is natural when you get into areas like this. Let's just see what it's suggesting right now. As you can see, that Bitcoin is kind of right at the top side of the last of the high value nodes right here. So a breakout above actually about 49,500, especially on a daily closure, would look good for pretty much a push through to 56,000 bucks, again in line with your breakdown from early May. I mean, that would look really, 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 really good right there. I don't really see too much stopping you in between. Probably a little bit of a little bit of an ebb and flow, maybe around 53,000 bucks, but overall that would look amazing. And on top of this right here, you even see the 200 simple now sort of bracketing the bottom side of what would be your volume profile, filling out to the downside right here. And guess where that is? Well, actually this one is a little bit below 47,000 bucks, but kind of coming in around the same level anyways. And yes, you can see that. I would be looking for Bitcoin to fill out this area right here if it does break down. Again, I don't think it's going to actually break down, but if it does, if that criteria is met, that's what I'd be looking for. Until that happens, I go with the trend, I go with the momentum, and I go with the volatility right now, all of which, except for volatility, are suggesting upside is a little bit more likely than downside for the time being. Anyways, with that said, do I want to get on to the next thing, or should I go back and address this? Yeah, I probably should go back and address this because I do have to do my team well here. Yep, there we go. We do have a sale going on, 20% off of everything right now. Make sure that you never jump into anything, any one of the programs, no matter what. They are not magic pills. They're not anything like that. Understand that they are really designed to be taken over the course, especially for the TA and options program, over the course of a year to two. And that is what I found for most people to kind of become into their own version of success, I suppose, like what they set out to do, because everyone's a little bit different, right? Some people, they want to just do it on the side. Some people want to do it as a main profession. Some people want to go work for a quant firm, of which we have several guys now, which is pretty damn cool, actually. But understand that, these are big commitments, and also you're going to be required to do a lot of work on them too, especially for the TA and options program. So again, the promo videos kind of line out exactly who it's for, what to expect, and all that good stuff. Make sure you watch that before ever considering one of them ever, and all good on that. Okay, cool. All right. Also, what? Yes, we already spoke about the merchandise. Yes, we... Yeah, we did. Elsa's all about the clothes right now. She loves she loves being a part of fashion, as you probably guess. There you go. That's right. We got our own fashion, baby. Holy shit. All right, cool. Here we go. What's up, Dan? Missed the last few streams. All good, man. All good. Busy with multiple projects and upgrading the rig. Hey, that's always a fun thing to be doing. I am actually really looking forward to the next set of electronics coming out, of which I look at my computer over there. 4000 series GPUs and the next and the next Intel processors. Man, I need a new one, man. It's an addiction. But yeah, we'll look at Solana's. Certainly, and let's see what Solana's doing on over here. I actually have added it to my list. Oh, what do you fucking know? 140. Our target has been hit, it looks like. Oh, nice. Not bad. Nice. Very nice. All right, here we go. We have Solana, symbol SOL versus the dollar on Binance, being requested by Mr. Dan. We are going to do a general overview of this one, as it is yet again hit our upside target of 140. So what I'd be expecting after this, maybe a bit of a short-term pullback, although the daily looks rather strong, especially coming into the weekend here. See what momentum oscillator is adjusting right now. Yeah, daily RSI is getting up there, and if we do start to put in a little bit of a high right here, which we have not just yet, we will have our first strike of bearish divergence, but even that is still very much unconfirmed. And realistically, what I'd be using here, or sorry, more importantly, what I'd be using here to judge the next sort of major high is going to be the volatility signature, of which we are right around 90 percentile right now. So I do think it could have maybe one more, spike up, but I would be on guard now for a little bit of a local high being put in after maybe one more move to the upside. Let's see what the short-term timeframes look like right now. Short-term timeframes say, fuck you, Krown. We're going up. Hitting bullish divergence off that last low right there. 2 new all-time highs. And again, even your 4-hour BBWP is just breaking into the 90s as well right now. So I expect that these are going to get a little bit deeper right there. Maybe go for one more run, and then I would be looking for a bit of weakness. Perhaps started off with some bearish divergence on 4-hour RSI, which we don't even have right now because this is not a confirmed local high as it is. Looking at the hourly, it is literally just stair-stepping its way up. This wants more from right now, and we can come up with some more prospective targets, I suppose, for the short term on this next continuation phase. You can see that nice little consolidation between the 414 and the 272 right there. That is good, and I expect that the next general target is going to be somewhere between about 145 to 150 or so, and then I'd be on guard for a bit of weakness right there. Let's check it out from our trending charts as well. See what we got going on over here. Let me pull it up. There we go. Let's get to our most recent times. Yeah, daily is actually freshly trended above the topside trolling band yet again for like the millionth time, as you can see. And what do we have going on? Well, that condition will be met as long as Sol is closing above about 134 today. So as long as that condition is met, I do look for probably somewhere around 150, a nice round, even psychological number before the next potential major pullback. But this is looking good, and daily MACD also increasing as well. So you got trend, volatility, momentum. PMAR is getting really extended over here, but it can definitely go for a little bit more. In fact, it can definitely go for a little bit more, but it's very, very close. I don't think that this one has too much more in it before the next sort of general turn down and consolidation a little bit lower. Not necessarily to call like a macro reversal. That would be very, very far away from its current trajectory, but I would be looking for a bit of sideways and down at the very least, as this thing has just been straight up nuke style. Absolutely powerful, man. And there you go. Nice one. All right, sweet. Sir, you having a good time over there? What's going on? What's going on? What is up with Scott Barney, man? You okay, dude? He deleted his message. I don't know, man. Maybe he read it. Like that's what I always consider is like, okay, whenever I run into like a troll comment, I'm like, man, does this person like reread? Does this person ever like read their messages? Because like really fucking weird. You know?
He calls us soft.
Okay, all right, you guys are soft. Okay, all right, buddy. Well, I wish you a good day, Mr. Scott Barney. That's very cool. Hootie Hennessy, what's up, man? Chainlink, any time frame? Yeah, man, let's do it. Let's see what Link's doing right now. I think it's right around our $30 target from a couple days ago. And it is, hey, not bad, actually right above it. Ooh, and we are within the midst of a breakout here as well. Lovely. All right, let's do it. Here we have Chainlink, symbol LINK versus the dollar, being requested by Mr. Hootie, very consistent with his request right here. And what do we have? We do have a golden cross officially confirmed. I think this was confirmed actually yesterday. We do have a break above the prior range as well. We have a retest of the 200 simple yesterday and a closure on new highs for this rally. That looks good, and we did have a measure move to be made off that, I do believe, and that's going to be pointed up somewhere around about 33 bucks or so. And I would be looking for a bit of a short-term, medium-term pullback somewhere around there. Looking at daily momentum oscillators, we do see daily hidden bullish divergence getting confirmed, and that is back in the bullish control zone, and volatility starting to expand from an incredibly low level. I would be looking for this to probably spike this level over here and then probably continue on for the long term. I do think that we've seen yet, your next major low. And guess what? Do we have a bullish engulfing weekly in progress here? Actually, technically we do not, but this would certainly not be this would basically be as good anyways. Yeah, did not trade below the low of the of the prior wick, but Closing this week anywhere above $30 is going to look fucking phenomenal. Even above about 29 and a quarter is going to look absolutely phenomenal for this one for long-term continuation. Oh, and guess what? Speaking of long-term continuation, if this does close anywhere here or higher by end of week, we will have hidden bullish evidence confirmed on weekly RSI. I repeat, weekly RSI, and I would be looking for moves probably up over the next month or two, somewhere around about $40 to $41. This would look really, really good actually at that point. Let's go check it out over here from momentum charts as well and see if there's anything else to be concerned with. Looking at daily right here, momentum remains to the upside as long as above 20, basically $26, looking good. Buy daily also closing tonight, and $28 is the magical number for this one to hold within the bullish control zone. That would look really, really good as well. And if we go down to the short-term time frames, what are we looking like right here? A bit of a short-term range, kind of similar to Bitcoin, kind of similar to Ethereum. Looks a little bit sloppy to be fair, but $30.50 would turn 4-hour Stokes back to the upside. So I do expect a little bit of sideways on the short-term timeframes. Maybe another drive down, actually, even to $28.50. But same thing on on Bitcoin. I really wouldn't be too concerned about this thing as long as it's above this level right here, specifically on a 4-hour. And with that said, Blink looking really fucking good, actually. Big volume pouring in on this one too. Now, of course, below $28.50, I would look for a retest down to about $26 or $25 low. But same thing as Bitcoin as well. Until this one actually cracks back down below about $25 on a daily, I don't really have any reason to be bearish on this thing or looking for any major trap. I do respect the upside right here, and Link looking, pretty damn good for what it's worth right now. There you go. Hopefully that was helpful, sir. Let's see. Oh my God, I missed this one. 5-day close as a actually no, not engulfing as well, but pretty fucking good here nonetheless. Yeah, I expect that this one's going higher. You can even see a bit of an inverted head and shoulders here as well. I'm just curious what that target would sort of populate. I think we might have even done this yesterday. Yeah, that's your $41 target more long term. Hey, not bad at all. I'll take it. Although I've never traded Link in my life, and I only live vicariously through the people who've been asking for it over the last 3-4 years now. What's up, Matsy from Singapore? Hell yeah, man! I hear that Singapore is one of the cleanest and nicest cities in the world, so it'd actually be pretty damn cool to see for myself. But unfortunately, I don't think that we can visit at this moment in time, man. Dan S, what's up, man? Morning to you as well. When you're ready, XRP USD 4-hour and daily, please. Yeah, this one would be a good one to record as well for the XRP army. Man, they fucking roll super hard, and they do not like it when you say anything bad about their pet rock. But I don't know if we'll have anything bad to say about it today. Let's see. 127. Oh yeah. Okay, here we have Ripple symbol XRP versus the DOGE being requested by Mr. Dan S. We're going to be looking at a 4-hour and daily and a general overview. I do want to highlight that the 5-day did close last night, and it did close relatively well, closing above the last sort of high of this consolidation short term. And this is looking, well, more or less good to myself, amongst many other things. You got the same sort of consolidation going on right here, as you do see kind of across the board in cryptocurrency land. And I don't really have any bearish things to say about this for the long term, especially as long as it's above about $1.10, even $1.14 would look good to me. Below there would look very, very bad, but as long as above there is what I mean, is that it would look very, very good to me. Hidden bullish evidence off that last low, multiple drives right here. We do see that volatility starting to turn up as well. You got trend, you got volatility, you got momentum. I expect that this one's getting ready for a nice little move here. In this case, I would be biased towards the upside. Short-term target of a break of yesterday's high would be about 148 to 150. Probably continuation implied. More long-term towards your May highs right here on that breakdown from about 160. Looking at the weekly is just a nice sideways consolidation and more or less fine, more or less good. Let's see what momentum also to say over here, and let's see what we got. 127. All right, let's see, what are we doing right now? Yeah, daily is nice and healthily upside angled as long as above 113. I really like what's going on right here. 5-day also up as long as above 120. Not bad. 2-day going to follow through today as well and will turn up within the bullish control zone, by the way, as long as we close above 120. And 3-day, same thing, but 123.5 within the critical zone, which is actually a decent signal right here as well for general continuation. So again, the levels for sort of change around biases are very obvious on this one, but I would be biased towards the upside in this case. And even the short-term timeframes, like a 4-hour, a little bit sloppy, kind of similar to Bitcoin as well. Again, caution below about 120 for the short-term timeframes, full-on confirmation for a trap situation below about 114. But for now, looks more or less fine to myself. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for the Ripple army. Nice one. Bloody Nin 9 says, or is that just Bloody 9? Bloody 9, there he is. Can you check the IOTA short squeeze? I don't think that there is a short squeeze on something that probably doesn't trade on leverage. How is that a period reference? Because because blood. I don't know about that. Does it trade on leverage? I don't know. I suspect not, looking at these exchanges, but maybe on Binance it does. Whatever it does, is this a short squeeze? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because I suspect that it's probably just following the rest of the market. This is looking good though. It's looking pretty damn good. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing make a leg up over the next week or two towards 185 to 190ish region. Weekly looks good for a reversal. And by the way, if this does close anywhere here or higher by end of week, we will have another drive of hidden bullish evidence on the weekly specifically, within the context of increasing volatility above 50 percentile, by the way, as well. Yeah, this would look like a nice reversal, a bit of a inverted head and shoulders on the lows right here, which we could make a measure move off of, and I imagine it probably points up towards that next perspective target. Oh, what do you fucking know? 190 or 188 on the dot, almost. Not bad right there. So there you go. IOTA 4 hour would be in trouble with any sort of a move below basically the breakout point at this point, which is below about 126. I don't think it's very likely right now, but you know, that would be my condition for that. I would, however, be looking for short-term pullbacks from this region as BBWP is on the absolute ceiling right here. So short-term timeframes like an hourly probably range sideways and down, and then set it up for continuation maybe early into next week, something like that. Midir, hey, is that a reference to Death Eater Midir? That was the best fucking boss in Dark Souls 3 ever. So fucking cool. Do not laugh. Do not laugh. Stop laughing. Stop it. Stop it. Stop laughing. It's not funny, and I just got Mortal Shell as well, man. Fucking epic, super epic. Yeah, you're not going to be laughing. You are going to be getting so wet when you see me defeat the Mortal Shells. Nerd! You... What the fuck did you just say to me? H&T, daily, weekly, sure. Sound like a bird. Sound like D. Okay, so what is this? H&T looks like a bit of a breakout now, ranging on a retest of the highs. Completely fine. Again, same sort of thing to say right here. I just would generally be looking for sideways and upside resolution as long as this thing's above about $20.70. Now, that does come with an opposite statement as well, or an invalidation statement. Below $20.70, very fucking bad. I'd look for this rally to fall apart down to like 15, 16 bucks or so. But for right now, man, this looks fine. Especially within the context of this market. 4 hours shows the range right here. Top side resolution is going to be about 24.85. Bottom side resolution, you know, just as we said, about 20.5 bucks or so. Sideways within the range right here was not interesting at all to myself, but this is again coming within the context of declining volatility on the 4 hours. So I would be looking at this as a nice consolidation first and foremost within the context of an overall uptrend, probably an upside resolution. Again, assuming that level does hold right there. So all good. King Cosmic, Marshawn Lynch voice. You know I'm here. There we go, baby. There we go. Get your Skittles out, sir. Let's see. Okay, so SPY over here. Do we make new all-time highs? Holy shit! We have some new all-time highs. Wait a second. Are we doing what? Are we doing this? We are! We're doing it again! We're going to the moon again! Holy shit, I was on the moon yesterday! I was on the moon the day before, and I'm on the moon! I'm on the fucking moon again! Holy shit! It can't be stopped! The market that never goes down, it only goes up! Is this going to be good for risk-on environment assets? Maybe so. Another bullish engulfing dildo to shove inside your fucking face from yesterday. Continuation, the name of the game. That's crazy. We're on the fucking moon! On the fucking moon! Enjoy your moon, sir. Remember we said yesterday, hey, this one looks a little bit sideways rangy from yesterday, but the monthly says not bearish yet, man. I would be looking for a 20% correction in a more sincere tone, but not yet, man. Not yet. Until this thing gets something, until this thing gets like some sort of reversal dildo on a monthly, I would not be looking for it. I suspect that September is going to be new highs once again. I probably would be looking for a 20% correction. Typically, it happens on October, actually, just kind of as an aside. I mean, it's just like a weird thing that a lot of the crashes do happen in October, but sometime around end of year, not yet, just yet. And the weekly is going to be closing today, obviously. This would be a pretty damn good setup coming into next week, obviously, for yet again some more moon action. If we go down to a daily, or sorry, if we even go down to an hourly, I look at this as a breakout in progress right now, and this is consistent as long as we're especially above the top side resistance of this at about 45.40. And of course, because this was an ascending triangle, which we identified yesterday, this does have a measure move which is pointed up towards 45.60, as crazy as that sounds. Holy shit, man. This thing just really does not stop. Again, what do we have here? Increasing volatility. We have trend. We have momentum. Crazy. Fucking crazy. There you go, man. Hopefully that was helpful. Mr. Marchand. Hootie Hennessy says, sometime after the blue buy signal, historically, there's usually retrace within 7 to 10% of the low hitting new all-time high. Yes, and we already and we already did that right here, actually. So if you want to go back to this chart right here, and in fact, I went through this very much in depth on a video. Not this past weekend, but perhaps the 2 weekends before that. It's in the long-term analysis playlist, and I think it's the second to most newest video there. Anyways, here's your blue buy signal right here. Here's your prior higher low before that. So if we are going to measure out about 7 to 10% from there, I think that was this low right here, actually. Yeah, about 10%, 11% around this slew of lows, which actually was a little bit higher than that. So this one was a little bit actually on the outlier situation. So that'd be another thing, kind of suggesting that, if Bitcoin does want to pull back, $43,000 would be a phenomenal number for that. To kind of get it a little bit more within its historical context, but even 13%, I mean, it would be on the higher side. Yes, we have seen those pullbacks come in within the context of higher lows that are 20% higher on the upper end. But like I did say, when I did the statistical analysis of it, it was on average 7%, actually, on average 7%. So this one would be a somewhat of an outlier, but again, until we take out that $47,000 low, I'm just not looking for that. I do stick with what I've been saying, that the lows are extremely likely to be in, and there's no reason for me to let go of that ideology. Especially as long as Bitcoin's above 42,500 now. I wouldn't even really consider it. Below 42,500, I will start to turn around to maybe even macro bearish. But I would get, I would get daily bearish if Bitcoin does break 47. So you can kind of see the sort of order of operations there, and that's how I do evolve things as as they go on. Similar to over here, remember we called the bear trap in this region right here, and while I wasn't necessarily calling like this is the low right now, it evolves over time. We had our first targets to about $35,000. That was met. Then we said, hey, this is very unlikely to be stopping here. Next target's going to be about $41,000 right here. We met that one. We said this is just another higher low. Okay, let's march it onwards and upwards. And we started getting this region. That's when we got this signal. I said, okay, that's what I need to see in order to declare a macro low in. There will be pullbacks, obviously, but I would be looking for those as opportunities long term. Anyways, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Gritters in the Discord as well, because he's actually been really, really consistent with that sort of stuff as well. And I know that it's sometimes can be a little bit telling and trying when you're looking at the higher term timeframes and you're speaking with people who are not. Fair enough, man. And of course, everyone's free to do whatever they want, but he seems to have a very, very level head amongst himself. So nice one. Hey, what's up, J3F? Hope your birthday was great, Doc. It was actually. I got to see the doctor. I got to see my dentist, and he told me that I have an infection in my teeth. Ray USD, we can look at that. 4-hour daily. Okay, we got Ray USD right here. Raydium, I'm not familiar with this one myself, but I do think that we've looked at it in the past. Looking really, really good on the 4-hour. Looking for a bit of a continuation play right here. Actually, long term. Where are we at within the context of this one? Yeah, this one looks like it probably wants to make a run for its all-time high around like $14.50 to $15, if I had to guess. We had a nice little ascending triangle breakout right here, it looks like, chugging its way through. Technically not confirmed just yet, but you have a really, really good setup right here. Hidden bullish evidence, multiple drives on 4-hour RSI, back in the bullish control zone, volatility increasing above 50 percentile. You're seeing the same signal like all the way around, right? And you're about to have trend continuation with any sort of a closure, basically above, what is this, like 1285 or so. And you could make a measure move on this one as well. Let's see where to be pointed towards. Yeah, about $14.50 to $15 or so. Does it continue onwards and forwards from there? Maybe yes. I'd want to see the weekly closure, and then of course trap situation below 1180. But for right now, looking good, looking very good. Mr. Almasari, what's up, man? BTCM stock daily. Okay, potential reverse. Okay. What is this? Bit mining. Okay, let's see. And you're asking, is it a potential reversal on the daily? This is in no way, shape, or form anything that I'd consider reversal right here at all. Unless if you're talking about a reversal off the lows, which you do have an inverted head and shoulders right here. Now, I know that you asked about the daily, but I think this is pretty damn clear on a 4-hour. Let's see if we've already hit the measure move on this one. Almost, pretty damn close, about $15 or so. I do think this one probably drives a little bit higher. Again, 4-hour BBWP is expanding right now. We're getting hot, but I suspect that we expand a little bit more, and then putting the highs relatively soon, probably somewhere around that $15 region. Daily, big volume pouring in on this low right here as well. And this is, I'm going to guess based off of its name, it's probably a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency miner of some sort. It's good to see that the miners are, having a good time alongside Bitcoin price action. That would also kind of further my, my sort of thesis that Bitcoin is, well, more or less bottomed here and probably does move up. With that in mind, next major areas of interest long term are going to be somewhere around about 17.5 to 17.5 to $18. Weekly is going to be an obvious reversal here as well. I mean, this is a clear weekly high or low. So is this a MAC reversal is the real question. I'd expect to see the same thing on a monthly as well. And yes, I do believe it is actually. I do believe it is. We do have a higher low right here. We took out the highs from prior areas over here from March 2019. This does look like a reversal, and your higher low just really took a lot of people out for sure. But it's looking good, especially on that reaccumulation phase right there. Nothing bearish about this in my opinion, as long as above about 11.5, which probably does get retested at some point too. But overall good. Let me take another sippy sip of this, man. I am damn thirsty right now. All right, there we go. There we go. Let's see. Super Googly, there he is. Hello, sir. I have a strong belief in Bitcoin, but as an amateur chartist, at times like this, I would think I should have scaled more or even all my Bitcoin to do Ethereum and other alts. Any thoughts? And it always comes back to what I want to throw back onto you. Look, it is completely irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant to think about these sort of things, because the only thing that matters and the only thing that makes you a good trader in the way that you actually can be good, or a bad trader, is if you can do this, is if you can follow your plan, the plan of which has been back tested. I don't know if you're in the program or not, but basically, I can give out the secret sauce. It's nothing too secret. Look, you need to back test things like at least 100 fucking times, and also forwards test it before ever putting it into motion. So when you're talking about should I have scaled more into Ethereum and other alts, well, is that a part of your plan? Is that something that you backtest? Is that something that you would feel comfortable doing? If so, then yes, you should do that, obviously. But if not, then no, don't worry about it. For myself, I actually have started trading Ethereum just because Ethereum does have the liquidity now. It's actually pretty damn liquid. It's kind of like what Bitcoin was in 2017, 2018. It's pretty good now. It's actually relatively respectable. And the moves are from a percentage-wise basis usually bigger than like the simultaneous Bitcoin move as well. So there's potentially more edge to be had right there. So that's why I've kind of somewhat switched over to doing that. Maybe might consider doing some of the same as well. But what I did after that is I went ahead and I backtested everything, and I wanted to see the results. Like in my strategies, if I play them out on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, what percentages would be different? And they certainly were. They were bigger on the upside and the downside. So you do potentially, get more reward, I suppose, but you also risk more as well. But I found that was a nice trade-off actually for Ethereum specifically. So it's something that you might want to consider, but I always want to, first focus on the plan itself, because that is what makes you successful. It's not thinking about these other things, because it's just a function of reapplying the same sort of formula to that, and then you can go from there. But in general, as you know, whatever Bitcoin does, most alts, and especially Ethereum, essentially mirror, and they do it in a more emotional way, meaning that if Bitcoin has an upside move, they typically go up a little bit more. If Bitcoin has a downside move, they typically go down a little bit more. Something worth considering. C Kaz, what's up, man? You're awake, a crypto zombie? Holy moly, man. What time is it where you're at right now? You didn't say. INTC, weekly, monthly, and 3 month. Okay, this is a nice start. Is this what I think it is? It is. It's Intel. Man, I haven't looked at Intel in like a year. Okay, cool. You're looking at daily, weekly, monthly, I believe, or weekly, monthly, and 3 month. All right, let's check it out. Weekly, basing off, looks like it remains in the overall uptrend, actually based off the 200 simple and 200 exponential average for the millionth time in the last 10 years, actually going back to 2011 right here. So I would be looking at this as a good basing point. And obviously it's not, guaranteed to work out. It's just you got an obvious way to be invalidating this idea. Anywhere below this current spike low right here, which is about $51.5 or so. Obviously this starts to fall apart a bit, and I would be looking for moves down to about 48 to 48.5. But for right now, let's see if we get any bottoming signals right here. Weekly RSI has rejected the bearish control zone for right now. I'd probably expect it to grind this area out a few more times and come back down around there. But again, all coming in within the context of declining volatility. So I look at this as trend continuation first and foremost, and this probably another higher low, maybe on a monthly, is going to better show. And yeah, I don't really have any major issues with this right now, at least in its current posture. Let's see what the quarterly looks like as well. Quarterly is, we did have a few drives of bearish evidence right there. I think that's already played out. However, if it does want to have one more drive down just below $50, as long as it doesn't close below 51.5, I think completely fine. But overall, long term, I think this is relatively good. Now, you did retest your prior all-time high right here, and it is very common to pull back from that. But what are we seeing over a long period of time? We're just seeing a general uptrend right here. And this one has a phenomenal history going back to 1973, actually. So almost 50 years of this. And this is looking more or less good over the long term. Here's what a semi-annual looks like. Yeah, very, very good on the semi-annual. Actually, I would even say that this one's probably likely to make new all-time highs within the next year or so. This is actually a phenomenal chart and a very good setup. And again, the invalidation point for this is, it's actually pretty damn close to what we're looking at right here, below about, I think it was about 51. Yeah, about 51 to 51 and a half. Is where I start to say, okay, this idea is falling apart, and I'd be looking for much lower prices into like the mid 40s. But for right now, I do like it long term, and in a very well proven stock as well, and also like good fundamentals, which should match up with good technicals, right? Okay, cool. Let's see. Crypto Rise, can you share your thoughts on HDF Life? Okay, I didn't know that you could have that many. Oh, it's an Indian exchange. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't know that you could have that many tickers right there. HDF Life. Okay, Sea Life. Yeah, here we go. Oh, wow. Powerful right there. What time frames are you looking at, sir? Daily and weekly? Weekly is an obvious breakout. We do have hidden bullish evidence right here. And again, I understand that like this sort of a move would set off a lot of people, but I expect if we go down to a daily, it's just going to be a retest. Oh, what do you fucking know? Just a retest. Crazy how that happens, right? Similar to Bitcoin. It's like you get a retest and didn't get bearish. No, it's like, what the fuck, man? Anyways, I don't really have any majors with this one as long as you're especially above about $700 or so. I do look for a little bit of short-term sideways, but very likely an upside resolution from this. Especially as long as it holds about 715 is where I'd say that gets invalidated. Long term, good. I like this volatility, momentum, and trend is just continuation as far as I look at it. Monthly, again, monthly RSI tells the story in this one. I expect that this one likely gets picked up and goes for and I'd really want to see like a good closure next week. But this one's, I think fine right here. A little bit of a pullback on low volume. That's profit taking as far as I'm concerned on a bit of a breakout. Again, bullish as long as you're above about 715 below there. Bit of a trap situation, but until that happens, I favor the upside on this one. ZY, there he is. Hey man, yeah, it was, sir. All good, man. Yeah, I understand that it's probably the dead of night right there in the East Coast. I'm guessing it's probably it's got to be at least 2 a.m. I'm sure. Hey man, all good. I'll buy you a beer when you turn 21. Finally, man, finally, I'm getting the benefit of the doubt. It's beautiful. What's up, Jim Cohen? What's up, Jim Cohen? How you doing, man? Just want to say thank you. Hey man, I very much appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. I'm very humbled by that, man. I understand that you think that this is a selfless endeavor, but this is also selfish as well. Like, understand, I get a lot out of this. I really truly do. Like, I get a lot out of explaining my thoughts on the charts because one, it exposed me to a bunch of different things that I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. It's more practice for myself as well. And I can say that while I was a successful trader before doing these streams, which we started like 3.5 years ago, bless you, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Yes, I was a successful trader before starting these streams about 3.5 years ago. Once I started doing this, my hit rate did start to improve. And there were some ideas that I was holding before that I found not to be true and new ideas that I evolved from as well. So this is, as much giving to me as it is giving out as well. In fact, I probably get more from this. I mean, there's also, the finest from YouTube as well, which is actually nice at the end of the day too, man. And massive thank you for that. Really, really massive thank you for that. And I salute you, man. That's a very humbling message. And I only have gratitude for that, sir. Elsa, I love you. You laughed. Everyone in chat is soft. That's right. Fucking bunch of softies. Like, what does that even mean? These internet streets are real fucking hard right now. We gotta tone it down. It's like, what? Lemon, what's up, man? Good morning, Krown. I'm a perp for perp, and I command price discovery next week. Okay. All right. Well, that's a secret to any trading strategy is to tell the asset what to do, sweet talk it, and that's always going to be good. I'm guessing it's this thing right here. I am unfamiliar with this one. I'm guessing it's like a basket of a bunch of shit coins, huh? That would be my guess. But okay, so you're looking at FTX. All right, I'm on the wrong exchange already. For in daily, appreciate it. All right, well let's pop it up over here. Get the right exchange on this one. Here we have FTX. Okay. Perp or perp USD. I think perp USD is what we want. Okay, it's the same chart anyways. Obviously stair stepping up here, but we don't really have the pleasure of having all the historical data on this one because I expect that it hasn't been trading for that long. Yeah, only since February 2021. And I guess this probably just tracks the general market. I mean, you kind of see the same thing that's going on over here as we have seen in most of these charts, right? Just stepping up within an overall uptrend formation. And really all that I'd be concerned with on this one is just following this area right here. If you do start to break below about, what is this, $18 on a daily, I would look for a nice move down to the 55 here at about $15. But until that happens, you know, I do more or less favor more of the same. I know the 5-day looks a little bit like a sell-off right there, but that is okay, especially when you consider momentum also is like 5-day RSI, which is still fine for the long term. Same thing with 2-day, although a bit of bearish divergence right there. So short term, it looks like we are getting that test down. Let's see what the very low term timeframes look like right now. Yeah, probably does turn down short term. Probably does give you a run somewhere around about 17 or so, but I wouldn't get bearish until you either get a daily closure below the level that we spoke about, or a 4-hour on a new low, which would be below about 16 and a quarter. It looks like. Would be right around there. Until that happens, I would just be looking for the next short-term downside move to probably get picked up and do probably more of the same. Again, same sort of context here on BBWP. So I would say that I'd be looking for yet again another higher low first and foremost, and then come back to it after that. All right, let's see. There he is, Crystal Lisa. What's up, man? Sir Krown, word is Ripple will close the lawsuit shortly. Any thoughts on where that could take the XRP army? I mean, you know, look, you probably know my general thoughts on that because, well, if the lawsuit closes. And well, hold on. Let's think about this. Obviously, it's a nuanced statement because what if they lose? Which I actually don't think they're going to lose that lawsuit. But then again, I'm not a legal authority. You know, go to a lawyer for that, man. I have no idea. But I can tell you what my thoughts would be on a certain resolution. Not necessarily what the resolution will be. But if they lose, obviously that's going to be terrible. The price will come back down well below $1, and you can expect much lower after that. Probably back down to like 50 cents or so, to be fair. But more importantly, if they win, that's going to be well, phenomenal for them. And if they settle, I would also imagine that's going to be phenomenal for them as well. Here's something that instead of like actually analyzing the what could or could not happen. Here's what I know as far as markets go. Markets love certainty. So when you even just settle for, a lawsuit like that, assuming that no one really loses or wins, they just kind of pay out, right? That is more certainty within the market and is probably going to be rewarded with more of the same. Now, it does seem very obvious to me right now that Ripple is pricing in an upside resolution of this, or basically a good result of this. And what's that good old saying? It's that show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. And there's actually a fundamental reason for that as well. There's a reason why, if you're not an insider and you're not like super into the fundamentals and everything, which you're probably not going to be unless if you are an insider or if you have like serious connections in some like very unique way, then the charts are going to be the first one to kind of show you. And how does that work out? Well, the people who are in the know, the people who are handling this lawsuit, they very likely know what's going on right now. And do you think that they're not telling their friends and families or colleagues or whatever what the likely result is going to be? Of course fucking not, man. They're human beings. Like, you can't keep a human being to keep a secret like throughout anything, like when you play that stupid phone game, right? The thing changes and everything. Do you know what I'm talking about? Probably not, because I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about right now. There's like some stupid game where like you tell a secret and then it changes, whatever. Anyways, you can't keep secrets. And so, what are those people going to be doing with that information? Well, they're certainly not going to do what is actually not illegal in cryptocurrency land, at least as far as I know, because it is unregulated for right now. And that would be, well, go and use that insider information for your benefit. So how do they price that in? Well, they start making moves on the charts themselves ahead of what the actual decision is going to be. And you see it right here. You see a slew of higher lows and a nice consolidation, and now retesting the highs. This is more a bullish setup than not. So I'd say that that's being priced in right now, and then we'll have the result, I guess soon enough. But again, if they do lose a lawsuit, like, you can expect this thing to come down. You can expect this thing to come back down towards your July lows. Probably even lower than that over time. But at the end of the day, man, I do think that this one is more likely to have an upside resolution probably into next week, barring any sort of like major massive trap that we're looking at right now. Scott Barney says, Krown, I can't keep you out of the joke. You eat a SS. Oh, ASS, an ass. Yes, that's right, man. It's good for your immune system, though. It's like a fecal transplant for your mouth. So get with the fucking times, man. Get healthy. Eat some ass, sir. Chef Chel Wong Kim. There he is. SRM USD. 1 hour and 4 hours, sir. All right, let's check it out. Let me see. Should I for this one? I know that we've been following up on this one for the last few days. Let me just double check that I don't already have too many videos on the board here. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, I think, well, we could maybe do this one. This one's pretty easy right here, to be fair. Yeah, we could do this one. All right, here we have Serum, symbol SRM versus the dollar, and we are getting that continuation that we spoke about yesterday. 2 hour, it looks like our $10 target, of which it's grinded up against there in the early morning hours. And are we looking for more continuation on top of this? Well, momentum oscillators would still say yes right here. Daily RSI still above the exponential, well within the bullish control zone. Now, at some point, this will likely make bearish divergence, but you can't have bearish divergence until you have a local high. Is this a local high right now? Absolutely not. And we still see that volatility is barely even increasing. I mean, above 50 percentiles when things actually do start to get going. So I look for a continuation first and foremost of current trend. 4 hour shows it very, very obviously as well, just stair stepping its way up. And I don't really even look for any sort of a trap situation, especially as long as you are above about, what was it? I think yesterday I said about 780. I'll just say $8 even. It's easier to say. So as long as that condition is met, I do look for this one to give another drive up somewhere around about 10 and a quarter. And then probably coming into next week, we could maybe extend those targets depending upon how the weekly closes. But for right now, it kind of sell off on a retest of that already. Does it grind it up one more time? The only thing that I feel comfortable with saying right now is that if the weekly does close above $10, I would be looking for new all-time highs maybe later this month in September. But for right now, the short-term time frames are actually the ones that are the most interesting here, as if you do start to break above about 10 and a quarter, that condition is very likely to be fulfilled, and I would be looking for new all-time highs probably sooner rather than later. Probably next week, actually, if that were to happen. Check out what it looks like over here as well. I'm just curious to see if momentum oscillators agree with this, and daily is actually up as long as above about 890, of which we are currently 40 cents above, almost healthy right now, about actually more like 50 cents actually. 12 hour, what are we looking like right here? Looking good, and we'll actually turn back up with any sort of a closure on this next 12-hour dildo in 5 hours 45 minutes of 9 and a quarter, and 4 hour is up as well, actually nice and freshly, as long as above 890 or so. So I do look, or at least I would be biased towards the towards the upside right now for the short term. And then I want to see the weekly closure, and then we could perhaps extend that again in validation below $8, and then I'd be looking for a retest of about 650, and maybe that starts to be a little bit more trappy. But for right now, good. There we go. All right, there we go. Let's see. Marcus S says, hey Krown, how do you deal with wicks, especially the ones overnight? My strategy relies on candle closes, yet wicks knock me out all the time. Thank you, sir. Okay, really, really good question here, because I like to deal with candles. I like to deal with closures as well. It's just, it's more formidable. Now, my first question to you would be, what are you trading specifically? Because this is one of the reasons why I do prefer to trade Bitcoin over most altcoins, because while Bitcoin will give you some of these nasty wicks, it is a lot more orderly compared to most altcoins. Like, you could give an example of maybe Litecoin would probably be a good one right here. Actually, no, not necessarily. I'm sure I could pull up like one with Monero. Yeah, you see a bunch of wicks all the way around, right? So first off, it kind of depends what you're trading, and that's why I do favor Bitcoin more than most things. Again, it's not perfect, certainly, but how do you deal with wicks? So in my strategy, especially when I came over to cryptocurrency land, this was like a big problem for me. I noticed that a lot of the time you'll have the right idea with your trade, but you'll get taken out of it because you do get these stray wicks. And it was like a big problem in like 2017, 2018, especially because, that was like that was like BitMEX's, height, right? And you had just these really, really nasty fake outs and whatnot. Anyways, so how do I deal with it? So what I added to my strategy was a template for essentially, what's it called? Like, what do I call this idea? I call this idea like an aggressive risk management, right? So I have a conservative and an aggressive, or basically an ideal and then an aggressive way of doing it. So the ideal one is always based off of closures. And that's what I ideally want to do, because it'll usually imply less risk on that trade if it does go against me. And then what I'd also have is an aggressive way of doing it, which would be based off of typically prior wicks or like major areas of interest that were a little bit further away. And so that way, my stop loss, like if I was going to have a stop loss, during the night, which you kind of need to have, which is also a reason why I do not like holding positions overnight. And in fact, I do not do it unless if I absolutely must have to, or like unless if it's like a very long-term position. So what I'll do is I'll have that stop loss on the aggressive one that's way, or it's not way far away, but it's further away and less likely to get hit. But I know that if that area gets hit, I really don't want that position. And then obviously, I want to be adherent towards the actual closure itself. So again, another reason why I actually really don't like holding positions overnight. So hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully that was kind of in the same vein as what you're looking for right there. Qasim, Mr. Malik says, hello, good sir. What's up, man? Please do Woo USD on the daily and weekly. Sure. Woo, huh? What is Woo Network? Woo Network, huh? What the fuck? This thing does not have a chart. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now we have an actual chart here. Now don't we? All right. You're looking at a daily and weekly, huh? Daily, obviously consolidating. This one is not the picture of health and fitness. In fact, if anything would make me bearish on price action right now, it'd be this. Now, I imagine I probably made this on a weekly. Let's see what it looks like over here. Yeah, I did make that on a weekly. I don't think that's going to work out. Now, technically speaking, this would still be, within the realm of possibilities here. I don't think that's going to work out though. And I imagine we actually don't have hidden bearish divergence on weekly RSI right there. So that would be, I guess, 1 point in the bull's favor right there. But this is not like a good chart for what it's worth. Daily to me is very clearly, let me actually, okay, we only need two true trend lines right here. Daily to me, if anything, is a distributive pattern actually. It would be a descending triangle right here. This one's not strong. It's not rallying with the rest of the market. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know what this thing does, but it's not benefiting. It's not riding off the coattails of the rest of the market strength, which is not a good sign. Now, I would change my opinion on this one, on the daily specifically. If you do start to see even a tick above about 87 cents or so, that'll look good, especially a daily closure above there. But daily Jewel just got another downside signal right here. Daily RSI is reaching for the bearish control zone. You might get another bounce off this region right here short term, but you didn't really seem like you cared about short term, so I really wouldn't even get excited about this thing as long as you below about 87 cents. I think it was. Until then, I mean, I do think over time that is a little bit more likely this thing does gun for about 33 to 34 cents or so. Price for a bounce there. Weekly looks very, very weak. 5-day looks like it wants to trade down to about 47 cents over the next week or so. Does not look too damn good, man. So this would be one of the more not so interesting charts that we've seen today. Hopefully that was helpful. Again, above this region right here, I completely changed around my thoughts, but for right now, this is definitely one of the weakest charts we've seen. Cool. Bitcoin Bear says, been a long time, Krown. It has been a long time, sir. Hex, oh dear Lord, Hex. Here we go. All right, Hex will do it. I imagine it already hit my 25 cent target. So what is it doing now? It's going for the next one. And that's right. We did make another one over here. Oh, it's actually at this target. What did I make that from? Okay, I made that from that base right there. So we are at the 2 spot 414. I don't think this thing stops here. I did say yesterday, or I don't think we looked at it yesterday. Maybe the day prior to that. I know we looked at it. The next real target that I'd have is more like 30 cents or so. And I do think that I will hit it. This is, regardless if anyone's thoughts of this thing or of Richard Hart, this is probably the best chart in cryptocurrency and most consistently for the longest time. The only thing that could maybe rival it is Solana, but this thing, I think it's got at least one more drive to 30 cents, maybe a bit of a short-term pullback right there, but let's see if anything's concerning over here. Not yet actually. And looking at BBWP, volatility is not even in the fucking 90s. It really wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that after a short-term pullback from 30 cents, this thing could actually run to like deep 30s, maybe even 40 cents before the next sort of potential major high gets put in, because I put a lot of weight on this over here, and we're just not there yet. So I'd have to be favoring more upside before anything else. 4 hour, I'm trying to find a range where to switch around that idea. This thing. It's a big range right here. I would start to get a little bit on the bearish side below about 25 cents, but for right now, even the 4 hours, fine for what it's worth. I would be looking for sideways and up from here, man. Looks good. It's powerful Hex. Holy shit. Hey, and there's Solana back above 140, so not bad. Everything's rallying to the moon and beyond. Enjoy, sir. And there you go for Hex. Let's see. Dan S says, thank you and good night. All good, sir. I salute you. All good. Crystal Lisa says, Krown, sir. Cosmos, symbol atom. Okay. Yeah, let's record this one, or should we record this one? I don't know. I don't know if this one's popular anymore. Looks okay, though. Actually looks pretty easy. Pretty easy chart right here. We do it? All right, yeah, let's follow up on this one. I think that we did a video on this one like a week or two ago. Here we have Cosmos, symbol atom, actually. A little bit confusing for Elsa right there. She'll have to do that video later, but ATOM versus the dollar, being requested by Mr. Crystalisa. General overview right here, of which I believe we did one last week, and we did say that this one setting up for a nice little breakout above about 23, or actually 22.5 to 23 bucks right there, and then a move implied all the way up to about 26. In fact, this one got a little bit higher than there, towards 26.5. For right now, very, 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 very good. Obviously on the daily, And I imagine this sets up for a weekly as well. I really like the setup right here. Hidden bullish divergence on daily RSI in the bullish control zone. I think that's already played out. However, what I look for now is I look for BBWP to continue to expand. It is above 50 percentile. So I look at this as volatility expansion alongside trend, obviously continuing here as well. And the daily jewel is given a nice little continuation signal as well. Short-term timeframes on the 4-hour. This trend line right here is not going to be relevant towards that. You know, could we play a pullback down to about what is this, about 21 bucks or so? Yes, but ultimately I would not be too concerned about this thing as long as you're above 21 bucks. Even if you want to go buy the book, I'd even say about 22 bucks in this case. It looks like a nice little sideways and up after this, if you want to call this a cup and handle right here. I mean, it does kind of fit the bill, to be fair, although I'm not a humongous fan of those patterns. More importantly though, I don't really have anything bearish to say about it or anything trapped to say about it as long as it's about 22 bucks. Below there, yeah, I'd look for another pullback down to, I don't know, probably somewhere around about 20 to 20 and a half. But right now, this is obviously good. Let's go to the weekly and see what this one's looking like over here. Yeah, that's not a bearish setup right there. Again, weekly RSI reaching for the bullish control zone. I'd like to see it close in there on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If that happens, I would be looking for this one to, at the very least, retest all-time highs in September, maybe even make new all-time highs in September. Very, 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 very good right here. Let's see what the monthly looks like. Yeah, the monthly tells a story, and this one did close on new all-time highs. I suspect that this one very likely does test new all-time highs, probably this month, maybe next month if things, you know, if things do turn down on maybe Bitcoin. But as always, when it comes to coins, you know, gotta be aware of what Bitcoin's doing. I'm curious what it looks like over here. 4-hour Stokes will turn back up with any sort of a closure above 24.38. Good. 12-hour up as long as above 24.30, right around there right now. Daily will be up as long as it closes above 23 bucks. I would favor the upside right here, again, with that invalidation point in mind. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Adam. Nice. Little Lith says, hey, happy Lappy, hey, birthday. Man, I am totally dyslexic. Totally sure of that. Granddaddy Gray Balls, that's right. My ball sack looks like fucking Saruman's beard. Been watching from the shadows, twisting my third nipple to your raspy lesbian voice. That's nice. That's really good to hear. Wow. I feel so powerful. Hey, all good. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Little Lith. That is a hard name to say, by the way, but thank you. Mr. Ciano, there he is. All good, sir. All good, sir. Can you check out Doggy on the 4-hour daily? Yeah, man, let's do this. And let's actually record. Doggy could use some love. I've been too harsh on it for too long, but yeah, it's still an uninteresting chart, I would say. See where we're at in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, definitely a laggard here. So I don't think I'm gonna get my 10 cent. I think we get my 10 cent anytime soon, unfortunately. All right, let's do it. Here we have a doggy symbol, DOGE, versus the dollar being requested by Mr. Who is it? Who is it? Mr. Ciano. We're going to do a general overview on this one. A little bit on the laggard schedule right here, but it looks like this one probably does pull through. Again, mostly depends on the general strength and the broad market here. A bit of a short-term range going on, obviously. And if you are looking at the very short-term time frames, actually would be looking at that last wick to the downside right here as the playable continuation towards your more daily area of about 27.5. Now, I would feel comfortable saying that below 27, more like below 27 cent actually on a daily. I would feel free to get bearish on this one all the way down to about 21 to 20.5 cent over here. But for right now, probably does pull through, not necessarily because this chart looks like the picture of health and fitness, but mostly because of the the strength in the broad market with most things making new all-time highs. But it's a very bad sign that this thing is not anywhere near its prior all-time high when the strong ones are. So it's certainly relatively weak, but I would not expect to break down here unless we see a breakdown on others as well. Anyways, with that said, short-term timeframes, I'll be looking for a bit of sideways and up. I don't actually have anything too unique to say about this thing. The only way that I'd really be looking for a continuation on this drive to your 33 to 34 cent highs on this past rally over here would be on essentially just a closure above about 30 cent and well, let's see, more like 30 spot 75 cent or so. Not really too interesting of analysis, unfortunately. I do understand that's not very helpful, but it's just a lot less of an interesting chart. The easier way to be looking for continuation would be any sort of a tick higher than yesterday's high, and then yes, I would be targeting moves back around more like 34, maybe even 35 cent or so. Where I'd actually get excited about this thing would be, well, never, but sorry. I would start to get excited about this thing above about 34 cent for big moves up towards your breakdown levels and spike highs of June, which are in the mid 40s. But for right now, more of a follower in this market, certainly not a leader. And if Bitcoin shows any weakness, this thing will get hit a lot more hard than the rest of the market, I suspect. But with that said, as long as everything else looks good, this one's probably fine as well. And momentum also does do favor the upside as well. You see daily Stokes will be ranged to the upside as long as above, especially 28 cent. 4 hour will be crossing back up with any sort of closure above 30.5 cents. So short term probably does range sideways and down here. Hourly is going to be up as long as above 29 cent or so. And let's look at, we already looked at the daily. What about 5 day? 5 days way up there at 24.5 cent. And weekly will be remaining with upside posture as long as it's above about 17.5 cent as well. So again, definitely not the most interesting chart that we've seen today, or I should say the most strong chart that we've seen today. I would say it's kind of not, but you can kind of see the areas of action right there. And again, I would get heavily bearish on this thing below about 27 cents, especially on a daily. That would look pretty damn bad. But until that happens, I'd probably be looking for sideways and up, mostly because of the rest of the market here. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go, a doggy crew. All right, sweet one. Let's see. Mr. Googly is back. All right, all good, man. Yeah, exited half my position in ramp BTC yesterday. Any more targets and supports on 4-hour daily? Again, I don't know what your strategy is, man. I don't know what your strategy is. I cannot give you a good idea, especially not knowing your strategy like in detail, nor should I be doing that to begin with, because that is quite literally financial advice, and that's not what this is, man. That's not what this is. Short term, I'll be looking for this thing to pop back down somewhere around about 735 or so. Probably does bounce off that level and probably continues on long term. Take that as you will. Yeah, 4 hour, a little bit lower, somewhere in like the mid 730s or so. And I'll be looking for a bounce. Obviously, if this thing does close below about 735 end of day, that'd be heavily bearish. But until that happens, I look for this one to trade sideways and up from that region long term. Hopefully that was helpful, sir. Mr. He Who. Yes, He Who. Can you look at Adam? I think we just got that one, and actually it'll be uploaded later as well, so I think we're good there. Mr. Cole Evans, there he is. Cardano, yeah, we can do that one. Let me just double check that I already even recorded like too many videos here, and maybe we'll record this one as well. We got, oh my god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we could do Cardano as the last one today. All right, Cardano, let's see what we got. Let's see, we got 295. Is it coughing it up? No, I don't suspect so just yet. All right, let's record this one. Here we have Cardano symbol ADA versus the dollar. Binance, any time frames? But Mr. Cole Evans. Okay, cool. Well, looks like we did close right on. Actually, it looks like new all-time highs on a daily closure, actually. And I do look at this still as an ascending triangle right here. And there is a measure move based off of this technical target, somewhere around about 330 or so. Now, I noticed that doesn't line up with any fibs over here, and we did kind of sell off on the 1.414, which is to be expected, to be fair. But typically you want to see a consolidation between that and the 272. So if I were to say that there's any sort of signals for caution here, that would be it. As we'd expect today not to close below, if this is going to continue on, we'd expect today not to close below about 290. That would be problematic on this one, at least from the way that I'm looking at it right here. With that in mind, I would still be looking for the technical target to get hit, probably a bit of short-term pullback from there, and then continuation to your mid threes or so, maybe into the next couple weeks or so. Looking at a buy daily right here, a little bit toppy, yes, but still 17 hours and 30 minutes left to go. The same sort of invalidation points as we just spoke about on the daily would apply here as well. 3-day it's not a bullish engulfing, but looking good for right now. And 5-day just closed yesterday, and this is also not a bullish engulfing, but we do just have a backfill on it thus far. And I do look at this as still first and foremost fine. Now going down to the short-term timeframes right here, this does look a little bit more trappy, to be fair. And if you do start to trade below the last 4-hour low, I would look for extension all the way down to 281. And that can obviously bleed on into the higher term timeframes, which would make me start to say trap in this case. And I would start to look for, and if that were confirmed, again, on the daily specifically, then I would start to look towards moves towards about $2.5. Again, long term though, I still like this one. Closing on new all-time highs on the monthly is not fucking bearish. I'd look at any move down to like mid to low twos as a major opportunity long term. But for right now, let's see what momentum also is saying over here. There we go. All right. Let's see, weekly gonna be obviously a nice and up as long as above $1.50. Weird things have happened obviously, but that looks good. Daily will pop back up with any sort of a closure above 304. That would probably be my continuation condition for the daily specifically. 12-hour will pop back up with any sort of a closure above 297.5. And 4-hour will be popping back up with any sort of a closure above 304. So actually the 4-hour and daily are in agreement with each other. And I would feel a lot more confident saying that if the 4-hour does close above that region, or even just trades above the spike high that you see right here, basically 302, $3.02 it is, I would be looking for that general glide up to that next targeted region, over the next few days, and then probably continuation depending upon how the weekly closes. But again, be aware of the invalidation point on this one, because the lower term timeframes are a little bit more suspect, but you know, I still look at this first and foremost as a backfill right here and probably fine. But again, you know, be aware of that area. And hopefully that was helpful, sir. Nice one. Let's see, Mr. Michelangelo, Tron. Wow, Tron. Okay, short and medium term. Okay, looks good to you. All right. Well, let's see. Shouldn't judge it before looking at it. Yep, looks very good actually. Very, very good. But that is typically a warning sign when you see the 2017 shitcoins start to rally up. Look, man, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know here. I wouldn't necessarily. I'd be looking for general continuation. You know, there's going to be ebbs and flows in this one, of course. But I'd be looking at 11 to 11.5 cent or so. This one looks, you know, decent. No reason to be talking about trap situations, especially as long as this thing's above 9.5 cent. Big volume pouring in on this nice, you know, on this nice continuation drive. I'd be bullish on it. Is the 5-day? No, the 5-day is not a bullish engulfing, but still pretty damn good closure yesterday. Anyways, I would be respectful of the upside here. Now, I would say long term, this is a 2017 shitcoin that did not take out its 2017 highs. Usually a bad sign, but hey, you know, for right now, short term, yeah, good. Again, as long as that condition is met, of course. Dan K says, do you see alts getting wrecked on a Bitcoin pump to 55,000? Well, altcoin versus Bitcoin pairings probably do cough up and pull back quite a fair bit. But versus US dollar pairings, no, I expect them to go in the same direction or at least sideways, whatever Bitcoin does. In this case, probably sideways, as most altcoins are actually moving ahead of Bitcoin here, rather than behind Bitcoin. But I do suspect that Bitcoin is setting up still. Like that does look nice. Mr. T, there he is. What's up, man? Tinos, hello, sir. And thank you for that, man. Thank you for that. Massive thank you, sir. Mr. Legend LEZs, there he is. Should I be concerned my stocks, Microsoft, Apple, AMD, all have red candles as QQQ goes up? And is Nike Daily Weekly just done, about to bounce? Okay, so if you're okay, so you just listed off, from what I remember, yeah, a bunch of tech stocks. I'd be looking at NASDAQ, if anything, man, and not suggesting that. Is Nike done? No, I think it's got a pullback here, but I wouldn't say it's done. Maybe it pulls back a little bit more to 161 and a half or so. How did the monthly close? Little bit choppy on the monthly, yes. So I do expect you're going to see some pullbacks this month, but I'd want to see the reaction off of 161 first. Below 161, especially on a daily, is when I'd start to say, okay, you should really have the cautionary signals out right now and expect moves down to like 155 over time. But until that happens, I'll just be looking for a little bit of a short-term down, you know, to that level, and then probably bounce around there. Short-term timeframes are kind of wrecked right here, but you specifically asked about higher term timeframes. And as far as your other question goes, I'd be looking at NASDAQ for those stocks, because those actually make up, especially Microsoft and Apple, make up a humongous portion of it. I mean, they pretty much do most of the heavy lifting, and AMD ain't too shabby itself. Look, man, when you're trading a stock, you know, stock first, then indice is kind of how I learned and how I was taught. And I'm not even bearish on what I would consider the more important indice here. Index here, which would be NASDAQ. I mean, this is again a very 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 extended chart, to be fair, but I'm not bearish on the weekly right here, at least as it is right now. Maybe if the weekly closes below like 15,500, maybe I would be a little bit bearish coming into next week, but it's not there yet for me, especially with the last monthly closure. I still respect the upside right here, at least for another month or so. Cool. Sushi Yum Yum says Ricey Daily. What was this one? Oh, this is Rolls Royce. That's right. Let's see. You said daily, weekly, monthly looks a little bit bottomy right here, at least for the at least for that time frame. Daily looks like shit. Wait, what time frames are you looking at? 4 hour on daily. 4 hour kind of looks like shit as well, but I'd actually be basing my analysis off the monthly right here. I don't know if this one trades back down to like 150 or so, but overall, I'd be looking for it to put in. I'd actually be looking for it to put in a bit of an up phase over the next few months, probably somewhere back above $2 or so. Terrible chart long term. I mean, this is your real chart right here, just absolutely god awful. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing, you know, trade back up somewhere around about $2 over the next few months. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. Short term time for like a 4 hour. Where did I start to invalidate that idea? Very easily on a 4 hour below about 148 or so. 148 would look pretty damn bad, but for right now, it does look like a bit of a reversal right here. Just want to see the monthly follow through as well. Now, keep in mind the monthly is very likely to just make another lower high, and I think at best the monthly would get to like maybe $2.50 over the next like half year or so, but maybe enjoy it for a little bit. Definitely not the stock that I'd want to like play though. I mean, there's so many more easy things that don't trade fucking OTC like this, man. But hopefully that was helpful regardless. Daniel Skillback says, "Hey mate, what's up, man? CTSI versus the dollar, sure. CTSI. Okay, you said 4 hour and daily, I'm guessing. Yeah, of course. Well, the monthly should be noted that this is general continuation here, but massive fucking wicks. Jesus, man, that's gonna be, yeah. And this is why I do not like trading altcoins. All these wicks right here. That's just not fun to deal with. But a very obvious ascending triangle, very obvious one. I don't think I've looked at this one before because this should be in the charts already. But we do have a measure move off of the confirmed break of the topside resistance here, which would be on any sort of a daily closure of about 83.5 cent. That would be a measure move, a technical target somewhere just below 10 cent or so. Or sorry, not 10 cent, a dollar. Sorry, apologies on that one. About a decimal off there. But long term, I mean, it is an uptrend. It's a respectable chart, yes. Just sloppy as all hell. And I imagine that has to do with the fact that, you know, it's kind of a liquid probably. Below about 77 cent or so, I'd get quite bearish on this one, looking for big moves down to 65 and maybe even below. But until that happens, man, I respect the upside right there. Looks fine. Mr. Benjamin, hey Krown, yeah, I did. It was nice. Can we take a look at Cardano? We already got that one, and I'll upload a video on it later today, but let me know if you wanted to maybe look at something very specific, and we can get back to it at your request, sir. CCAS says, Intel looks like a 2-decade cup and handle with decent entry now. Thanks for daily. Hey man, all good. All right, some sushi. All right, we can do that. Some sushi, 4 hour daily, weekly. Sure. Sushi. Okay. All right. 4 hour. Sloppy. Daily, sloppy. And I would have actually expected Sushi to be having a good time here. It's certainly not following as much. But again, you know, just I don't find it wise to be bearish on some and then you know, bullish on another thing, or at least be leaning towards bullish on the other thing. You know, weekly, probably a nice healthy consolidation. Look, here's what I'd say on this one. It's sloppy, yes. It's definitely not the strongest chart in the space right now, no doubt about that. But I would hold off on getting actually bearish on it until, well, I'd actually keep this level right here at about 12.25 below there. Yeah, I'd start to, you know, look for an actual trap situation. Until then, I just look at this as a sloppy but probably okay consolidation. Short-term time since like a 4 hour, I don't have an opinion on. This is all sorts of weird looking to me. So if anything, I'd probably be looking for short-term down, but you know, I do hold off on getting bearish on this thing, especially as long as it's above about 12.25. So definitely not the strongest chart though, and I do think that it probably pulls through. Already played out that hidden bearish divergence right there. You know, any sort of a move above the last 5-day high, which is 14.35, that's where I'd start to get excited about this thing, probably back up towards $16 or so. But until that happens, you know, not the most interesting chart. Certainly a lot more on the weaker side as well. Rejack, there he is. What's up, man? All good, man. All good. Roon, yeah, we can do Roon. Sure. Daily and 4 hour. I like how you do it in minutes as well. Roon, and let's see what we got over here. Yeah, no, you know, another altcoin chart that's not following as much, but you got the same sort of setup right here. You know, look, as long as this thing's above the daily 21, it can pull back there. That's completely fine, but I do respect the upside more than the downside. We've lost the downside curvature on the Jewel. I just want to see Cyan get on that one. Plus, any sort of an upside move alongside BBWP expanding, and that would be the same sort of setup that we see across the board. Daily RSI already has the bullish divergence in there, or sorry, hidden bullish divergence in there. And 4 hour, you know, always need to come up with an invalidation point. And where would my invalidation point be on this one? Pretty easy on this one, actually 950 or so would be it. And to the upside, short term, I would be a little bit more excited if this one can take out about 1081 to the upside, and I'd be targeting a move back around your prior highs. That probably bleeds into the higher term time frames at that point, and that's at the point where I'd start to look for an actual move to occur that you're probably more interested in towards about $14 or so. You know, decent chart long term, you know, for the history that it does have, which it actually does have a decent amount, I suppose, for an altcoin especially, but a little bit concerning that's not following as much here as well. So I'd be aware of that invalidation. Until then, probably fine, man. And thank you, brother. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Martin Hunt says ERG USD on the 4 hour daily. Sure, man. Oh, nice. And you're in the Neo. Nice one, man. Fuck. What was it again? ERG. There we go. Short-term memory loss is not treating me well right now. We're 1 hour and 41 minutes into this video right now, and my brain is starting to fail me. Not a whole hell of a lot of history here on the daily. I mean, this one's only been around for literally less than a month actually to the day. If you're looking at a 4-hour daily, I don't think that a daily is going to be too helpful here. I'll tell you what you already know. It's an uptrend. You do see, I suppose, what's going to show better on a 4-hour and an ascending triangle. And yeah, you do kind of get that right here, I suppose. Something like this, what you'd be looking towards. It's sloppy. I'd be more cognizant of that last little high right there. And something like this is what I'd be looking for down here as well. I wouldn't necessarily look at this as a fake out or a trap or anything like that until this thing does come specifically below 16 and 85. Until then, I'd probably be looking for a bit of sideways here, maybe test some downside. But overall, until that level is met, I would hold off on getting like actually trappy bearish on this one, looking for moves down to like 15.5 or so. Until then, this one does look like it's probably setting up here, but not enough history to really give it an accurate reading, in my opinion. Other than that, it's okay for the history that we have. I'd like to see more before saying more myself. Just don't feel comfortable in that one, to be honest with you. And I always want to be very, very straight shooting when I don't have like that high of an opinion on it. So yeah, healthy amount of I don't know is the proper answer right there, as is typical. Jack Asman, what's up, man? Good morning to you, man. Could you please check Bitcoin dominance? Sure, yeah. So Bitcoin dominance, I imagine we're just going to see a continuation here. Now, I was actually expecting a bounce before this continuation. Now that did not come. I was actually looking for a bounce somewhere around about 45.5 or so. We just got a nice little downside move. Now, dare I say we probably do go for another bounce somewhere right around here as well. Does that come alongside of a Bitcoin move? Very likely, yes. We would expect a Bitcoin to be moving in either direction, really. If we are going to see a bounce on this one. Now, if Bitcoin does move to the upside, I'll probably be looking for this thing to bounce up somewhere around about 43 and in a third, 43.5 or so. Probably putting a lower high right there and continue on with the macro downtrend on this one. As you do kind of see, if we flip this around, a bit of a reaccumulation right here. if you do want to look at it from that perspective, this would be kind of like the inverse of Ethereum Bitcoin, obviously, which probably could. Let's actually just kind of look at that chart as well. Here we go. Yeah, you can see it basically is an inverted chart of this. And I probably would be looking for a bit of a short-term pullback based off of this one, just because it already has kind of hit around its prior highs of this rally. Probably does range down a little bit, and that's at the time where we probably see Bitcoin move. Now the question is, does Bitcoin move to the upside or the downside? Like I've kind of already said, until Bitcoin breaks below about $48,000, I do respect the upside more than the downside, obviously. But that remains to be seen for right now. So generally speaking, I would be looking for a bounce on Bitcoin dominance here, which does imply that altcoin Bitcoin pairings will very likely play out pullbacks. The question is, do those pullbacks set up higher lows or reversals? If Bitcoin moves to the downside and starts to really take out major critical levels, not just $48,000, but especially 47, then I would expect reversals. And that would probably be your proverbial bull trap down to 42 or $43,000. If Bitcoin does not do that, then I'd probably just be looking for higher lows. And that is where I'm more or less angled towards as well. Not necessarily based off of the Bitcoin dominance chart, but actually based off the Ethereum chart right here, the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, because this is phenomenal. And, you expect this one to continue with its upside trajectory more long term based off that trend. So looking good. Crookface, hello, sir. .USD, Bitfinex, only 4 hour, please. Sir, is this bust or no bust? Do we have some busting action? All right, let's check it out. Polkadot, I believe. Yes, it is Polkadot. You're looking at a 4 hour or yes, you're looking at a 4 hour. Do we have some busting action going on right here? It looks like it busted yesterday. This was the busting action right here on that volume. Let's see. I do want to see where the daily's at right now. Generally speaking, yeah, this one is going for some bust. We got some bust over here actually. It is looking good, man. I'd be looking for a little bit more sideways though. Could it trade back down towards the low side of this current consolidation? Yeah, that wouldn't be any problem. About 29 3/4. In fact, that's the only area that we need right now. Yes, all of these are relevant for prior times, but for right now, for this conversation, just 29.5 or so. Below there, I would start to call a trappy situation, but as long as as long as it's above there, I do look at this one sideways and up from here, with more long-term targets, around your May breakdown levels. Actually, 5-day closed as not a bullish engulfing, but still pretty damn powerful nonetheless. And we do have a bit of an inverted head and shoulders here as well, which I expect just targets around the high. I want to see the weekly closure next. Any weekly closure above $31 is going to look really, really good coming in next week, and that's what I feel more comfortable with saying. Short-term timeframes though, bust in action, no bust in action, sideways action is what I'd say for right now. Jared, whoa, that is a difficult last name, sir. Mr. B, what's up, Jared? Ren, please, and thank you, kind sir. Sure, man. All right, let's see. Ren, dollar in. Then, and you have time frames. Do you have no time frames? No time frames given. I'm going to the daily. Very similar chart here as well. Very similar chart here as well. I have no reason to be bearish on this thing as long as you're above about 72 and a quarter. But short term, I imagine you probably are going to play out some sideways, maybe a little bit of downside as well. Anywhere between where we're at right now and I wouldn't necessarily say that that's relevant. I'd say anywhere between where we're at right now and this historical trend line that I must have had from ages ago, which is all the way at about just below 74, just around 74 cents or so. You know, short term could play a bit of sideways and downside. That's completely fine as long as you remain above this level right here. I do look for that to just create another higher low with more long term continuation, you know, implied towards about $1 actually. Above $1, and I really want to see the weekly closure on this one as well. Nav Singh says Sol USD short term. We've actually already looked at that one, and I will upload a video on this one later today. But if you're just specifically asking about short term, we did say that targets back up to 140. What is this? 146.5, and then probably 150-ish region is where I'd be looking for. Realistically, I want to see BBWP on this one get to like 95 plus percentile. We're getting close here. I do think it's time to be a little bit more on guard with this one, but I expect it's got a few more highs to be put in just before that. And then we see a high maybe in like the low 150s if I had to guess. This one's really fucking strong right here. Just get out of the way of it, let it do its thing, and I'm still not getting like critically toppy signals just yet. So I expect it's got one more drive here at the very least, and then probably does play at a bit of a pullback. And well, after that, I'd probably be looking for a bit of a sideways consolidation, then probably more of the same on that one as well. Like still one of the best charts in cryptocurrency land. Christina, what's up, Christina? Pearl? How do you say that? How do you say this world? You're looking at a daily, weekly. All right. The hourly is certainly not too healthy right here. Okay, so daily is a setup right here, but the first thing that really stands out about this thing is that it's not strong. Really unimpressive chart long term. But you got the golden cross right here. You got an uptrend. You're grinding up against the 200 simple. You got hidden bullish divergence right here. This is all within the context of very, 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 very low volatility. So I look at this as very likely to break out, as we've seen pretty much consistent amongst most of this market. Any sort of a daily closure above the daily 200 right here, which is basically 10 cents, would look really, really good for general continuation. In this case, I'd be looking for a nice targeted region somewhere around about 12 cents. You know, could that lead into long-term continuation? Yes, absolutely. But I do need to offer up an invalidation point on the other side, and that would be very specifically below 8.73 cent. Until that happens, though, you know, fine, I suppose. Just definitely not strong. And you know, if Bitcoin does turn down, this thing's going to turn down very nastily. So just be aware. Just be aware, sir. Or sorry, not sir, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There we go. Good news, Tether just printed another 1 billion fresh Tether, says Nimbo. Holy shit, hot off the press. We got some more fake monies to go with your fucking fake internet currencies as well. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. QZ says Rose USD, medium term. Sure. Voice is starting to fail me now. My voice is starting to fail me now. Rose, nice move right there. Not a whole hell lot of history here. Very similar setup. Actually, very similar to the one that we just saw. This one just a little bit more evolved. So if you're still listening, Christina, this is what I'd be looking for right here. Break of that 200, run up towards your May breakdown levels right here. This one's already doing it. I'd be looking for sideways and up on this one. Invalidation below about 11 and a quarter. So that's your last little breakout area right there. 4 hour just seems like a bit of sideways consolidation right here. Completely fine. 5 day. Very, very good closure on the 5 day. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing actually rally back up maybe over the next couple weeks towards 16 cent or so. I would like to see the weekly closure before like really getting excited about this one, but weekly closure above, especially anywhere above like 12.5 cent would look really, really good. Really, really good coming into the later portion of this month here. Hey, what's up, Justin Tomiak? Thanks for that, sir. All right, you want to look at Super? All right, we'll look at Super. Let's see. This is Elio's. This is Elliot's one. Let's see. Weekly is not looking too hot right there. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. 4 hour ranging. 4 hour ranging. You know, you can kind of give it the benefit of the doubt. It is an altcoin, and you know these things. You know how these things are, man. They just look sloppy until they don't. Well, they typically always look sloppy, but you just got to make a bit of an excuse for it. My excuse for this one, or at least my invalidation for this one, would be 84 cents. A little bit of a laggard here, obviously, but I would start to get excited specifically above about 98.5 cent, and I do think that it will end up doing that. You know, momentum oscillators are more in a neutral to bullish posture right here. Same thing on daily Joule as well. And BBWP is trending down this whole way through as it does range around the current highs of this rally, which is typically a good sign. With that said, I'd really, really want to see this one take a leg up within the next week. Otherwise, it will start to look a lot. Otherwise, it will start to look pretty damn toppy and probably does trade back down towards 60, 70 cents or so. Until then, though, if you do see that breakout above about 98.5 cents, I would look for basically a move. I mean, there's really not much stopping this thing from $1.50. Even $2. This thing could really move if it actually does choose the upside route, but it is a bit concerning to see it take this long when most of the things are rallying for right now. And short term probably does come back down and trade around, test around about 85, maybe even 84 cents. I would still hold off on getting bearish on this one until it actually breaks below 84 or so. Lilith, what's up, Lilith Music? Happy birthday for yesterday. Appreciate that, man. Holy fucking moly. To end this off with a nice little positive message. Appreciate that, sir. Should we get on to Bitcoin for a little bit of a wrap up? No, I think we're good here. Again, I really don't have any major issues with this price action as long as it's especially above 48.5. That's the first major warning signal. I would call a massive bull trap below $47,000, but until that happens, man, I'm still looking for sideways and upside resolution, probably more likely into early next week. Keep an eye on CME closure today. Any sort of a closure today above, well, let's actually go to the weekly for this one. Any sort of a closure today, especially above about 50,000, would look really good coming into next week for targeted regions up to 55, 56. But for right now, sideways and up is the name of the game for Bitcoin, and a little bit of a boring day after that retest of yesterday's breakout. So with that said, I do want to wish you the best and the happiest once again. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really fun times. Elsa's swinging her hands in the background. She's got some whoop whoops going on. Massive thank you to all of our friends and families within the chats right here. I see you, Faraz. I'm always on the lookout for feet. There he fucking is, Mr. Consistent. And I'll be signing off now. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and see you very hopefully soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, blend it, send it, swell it, sell it, click, unquit it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it, and repeat it.